Now, Mr. Speaker, I stand before this body, but I want to speak to the people watching us at home right now and who will hear us in the hours and days to come. I want to speak to the people who stretch their budgets to get to the next paycheck. I want to speak to the people who are starting to wonder if the American promise no longer applies to them. You need a comeback. America needs a comeback. If we are successful today and the weeks to come, you will keep more of the money that you earned. You will have more in your paycheck. Your life will improve. If we succeed, you will succeed. But if the leaders and obstructionists on the other side of the aisle win, you will lose. You see, they want Washington insiders and bureaucrats to keep more of your hard-earned income. They think it's theirs to spend. We think it's yours. Now, I've tried my best to understand their opposition. And I've listened to the pessimistic leaders of a party that once upon a time claimed they stood for the common man. Without a shred of evidence, they are certain our plan won't work. They drum up a stale argument from 30 years ago, saying all this bill does is help the rich. They call it a middle-class tax hike. That same paper our colleague just held also has fact checkers. But the fact checkers gave them not one, not two, not even three. The most Pinocchios you can give, 4 for that lie. Every honest person sees this as a tax cut for hardworking Americans. This bill increases the child tax credit, increases the standard deduction, increases wages, and is already bringing back jobs to America. The fact is, the first $55,000 an average family of 4 earns will not face a single penny of income tax. Not a single penny. So what are these party leaders defending by their opposition? It's not the people. After all, there's not a single person I've ever met in this nation that wants higher rates, lower wages, fewer jobs, and a more complicated tax code. No, they aren't defending the people. They're defending loopholes for the special interest, corporate welfare, and carve-outs for lobbyists. They're defending the abusive tactics of a status quo in the IRS. And you know what I find most absurd? They're defending the reckless tax and spend of broken states across this country. They have made it their mission to increase taxes on our fellow citizens. And my friends on the other side of the aisle, they have the audacity to call this a tax increase. In the end, they're defending a broken status quo. You know what I think, Mr. Speaker? I think that voting no on a plan that lowers taxes, higher wages, and more jobs, and a simpler system, that isn't about Republicans and Democrats. Voting no is telling the American people you do not have faith in them to rise if they're given a fair shot. Well, Mr. Speaker, I have a simple question for this House and for everyone who's watching at home. Do you want higher taxes and less money in your pockets? Or do you want lower taxes and more money? I think we sent a message to the doubters and the critics. The American people do not want hard work to be punished. We do not accept decline. We do not accept that Washington knows how to spend our money better than we do. So I have a different message for the American people. To those trying to find a job, that long search is coming to an end. This is your comeback. To those sick of just getting by and fighting for a raise, this is your comeback. To those struggling to keep your small business afloat, to pay your employees, to help your neighborhood, this is your comeback. To every American who ever dreamed of being an entrepreneur and owning a small business, this is your comeback. To every mother and father starting a family, raising your kids and trying to give them more of an opportunity than you ever had, this is your comeback. Now, I put hope in the American people. This bill puts hope in our American people. Because we trust the people. That's the start of America's comeback. I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. The chair reminds all members to address their